All right, guys, welcome back. We are here with the final match of the night, the final game of the final match, as OnFleek is going to pick up that MVP. Lots of great engages on the Jarvan. Lots of good stuff in that game for him, so he will pick up his fourth win of the MVP award from that game. It was a very entertaining game. I liked it back and forth, and we got one more for you guys, so should be a lot of fun in this one. What are you thinking, LS?
Well, I don't know what I'm thinking. After last game, the Zoe Ezreal composition was given everything it needed in order to bring that game home, coupled with a Baron steal. But key was definitely proving to be the key to victory for the opposing team, as eventually SANDBOX, they were able to bring it back. But it doesn't change the fact that 2 games in a row now, they have staggered in the laning phase. And will that prove to be true in game number 3? We'll have to see what ends up happening, as Aatrox is the first ban by Hanwha Life.
Yeah, same as game number 1. Hanwha Life has not let Aatrox through. Really scared about Summit and or Dove and or OnFleek playing that one. There's another Lux ban coming out here. Lots of focus on all those OP supports nowadays, including good old Yuumi, the faithful magical cat, will be shut down once again. So far, very similar to the first pick ban, although the Karma hasn't been touched yet by SANDBOX.
Well, Yuumi now banned away following Jade, so apparently even though Summit won against it in terms of laning phase, they are electing to ban it away here against SoHwan.
Yeah, it's they're foregoing the Karma ban so far to fit in the Jace. We'll see what the final choice is. They banned Karma Lux Talia in game number 1 at SANDBOX, and you see here Hanwha Life say, well, we don't really want to play Karma. Also, perhaps we could pick up an Aurelia first pick or some other kind of good first pick by denying Karma here. Let's wait and see which pick SANDBOX is most scared of. It might just be a Talia once again.
Oh. 2 seconds remaining. Tahm Kench now banned away. This means that Ezreal...
Yeah. Ezreal is available, and you got Sejuani available. Not as common in the first pick place once again, or nowadays I should say. The Talia also was a ban by SANDBOX, but everybody really enjoying the Corki nowadays and saying that, well, this is just too good to pass up, and we are going to first pick it in this game.
Corki picked up here by Hanwha Life. And now SANDBOX responding with Sejuani, it seems.
Yeah, Sejuani is looking to be hovered here on Fleek. We've seen him play the J4 and the Sejuani actually in game number 1. So that was their first pick in game number 1. But instead, with the Xayah pick, potentially thinking about Xayah Rakan later, but they're not going to overlook the Sejuani here perhaps. Happy with the way that went. Perhaps they can draft around the Sejuani a little bit better compared to game number 1 and try to scale and teamfight just as well as Hanwha Life could with their Corki.
And maybe now what they can do is they cannot pick Rakan until the second phase, and that potentially steals away a ban, is something that SANDBOX could be using as a way to get a steal, at least, in the ban pick here, as Jarvan now being picked up. Perhaps we will just see a Rek'Sai answer once again. That was one of the primary things that made Rek'Sai... yeah, the Sejuani is already locked in. Nakaisa now being hovered by Hanwha Life.
Yeah,
locked in.
Going to pick that one up here as we see that Kaisa not really having the best win rate overall. Did pick up another win tonight, actually, earlier on with the AP Xayah we saw out of Africa up against Jinair.
Rakan now picked up by SANDBOX, and most likely going to be locked in there.
Xayah Rakan, definitely what they were looking at once they picked Xayah in the first place. So already a very strong composition built in there, but Hanwha Life as well, nothing to be unhappy about as well. I mean, they have great engage and already a couple of scaling picks with the Corki and the Xayah. Feels like a lot of these Korean teams are leaning towards that kind of composition nowadays.
Cannon now going to be the first ban by SANDBOX. So I guess they don't want to allow Hanwha to have any more types of hard engage champions to accompany the Xayah and the Jarvan, with the Corki being the primary poke champ.
Yeah, and well, good old Mew and Mewtwo together now. they were picked together multiple times, and now they're banned together in the same spot. So there you have it.
We'll see what the final ban is going to be for SANDBOX. Three seconds remaining. And it will be the Nautilus. So yeah, they're trying to continuously reduce these hard engage type of champions. And with counter picks remaining for their mid and top laner, it can be quite good.
Yeah, I do like the idea on the Nautilus. That might have just been the best ban. And we've seen a lot of Xayah Nautilus in the bottom lane. And just taking that away to just give Xayah a free into the fights, as you were mentioning, is pretty nice. So we'll see what's left over, as perhaps we're looking at Zoe again, but this time for Dove, as it is the hover.
Syndra being hovered, okay. Well, looks
yeah,
like
that's right.
Corki is going to face his very friendly opponent here, Azir.
Yeah, they're very familiar with each other at this point.
This is a very, you know, we talked about this in set 1. This is a very birdy comp. It's 3 birds.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
And a woman riding a boar.
So they could get the 4-bird synergy plus double glacial if they add in the Anivia at this point.
There you go. That would probably be the best angle that they could go for. And I think that Azir is even an elementalist. I mean, he raises sand soldiers.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, they have a lot of synergy that is possible here.
As we were talking about hard engage supports, Galio can kind of fill in. You know, we saw a lot of Galio support, and then people started picking up the Nautilus. And there's a reason behind that, as how about more engage? And SoHwan with a little smirk on his face saying, okay, I'm going to be blind picking the Camille into the top side. It takes, you know, some cojones to do that, especially into Summit. And I think that's part of why he was giving us a little smirk there.
And Renekton, wow, insta-locked in there for Summit. And so now SANDBOX, they're going to find themselves with definitely a lot of fighting power on their team comp. And Jarvan is going to have his work cut out for him a little bit harder this time around, as there is a lot of volatility spread across all of these lanes. The Sejuani, she can match counter gank basically everything and be okay with it, but Jarvan, he needs to get the ball rolling for a lot of his teammates, because if the Camille and Xayah fall behind, it doesn't matter that you have the scaling on the Corki. None of the other members on SANDBOX are going to care, and the Xayah and Azir will just run right through you.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how this goes down. It was a fiery couple of games here in game number 1 and 2. Let's take a look at the comps once again.
Xayah, Galio, Corki, J4, and then right at the very top there is the Camille. So this is sort of a 4-1 type of team composition. The Camille wants to get strong enough to the point where she can start split pushing and then come in whenever necessary for teleports that are going to provide them with an advantageous fight. But on the flip side, for SANDBOX, Renekton, Sejuani, Azir, Xayah, and Rakan, lots of engage, lots of pick, lots of scaling. All they need to do is stabilize, but if in the early game they get ahead, makes it almost impossible to lose.
Well, that's going to be the same win condition as game number 1. We'll see if they can do it a bit better this time in game 3. All right, the fans staying late here. We still got a packed house all the way down to 10 p.m. Should be ending around 11, so everybody putting in the time, watching their favorite teams, cheering them on, down to the end of it. Gotta love it, as you also gotta love some kleptomancy here for good old SoHwan in the top side against a Renekton. This guy, we saw his cheeky smile before, but now we've seen his cheeky runes, as he's really holding nothing back on the top side.
Yeah. And we'll see what the initial jungle routes are going to be. Are we going to get some of those wonky red to blue J4 openings that don't really, well, they leave much to be desired? Or are we going to get a more powered clear that allows Jarvan to have a little bit more flexibility in terms of his options? As, okay, SoHwan actually getting the better end of that trade up there in top lane. Even got the kleptomancy procs.
Yeah. He's feeling good about that choice right now. We'll see how the choice does as the game comes along, and the Renekton gets a couple items in level 6. As Bono, okay, here we go. Flash for flash in the mid lane. You talked about red to blue for Jarvan paths, but how about red to mid lane? That's kind of a plat solo queue kind of strategy coming in there. A very common
Tell us about
one.
it. Tell us about your personal experience. I mean, my personal experience, right? Down there in low platinum, so
Yeah.
he was handy in top gen.
Good old low standards. How about another gank on the top side? This guy doesn't hold back.
Oh, man.
That's so obvious. SoHwan at level 1, running up to summon
Oh!
here. A nice dodge there. He's going to have to flash that hook shot, though. Wouldn't have been really cool if he actually flash predicted and they got the kill. Not going to happen, though, as Bono is so active on the map already.
Well, we talked about it, right? The Jarvan has to get stuff going early on. He can't just sit by. That is a really...
Oh, Tempt. Oh, Tempt. He's going in there. He Valkyried forward for that one. What got into this Hanwha Life team?
I've named the dog. Well, actually, I've been informed what the dog's name was during the break. It's actually Tanner. People think that Tanner was a person all along, but it wasn't. Tanner was a dog that went to high school.
Ah, okay.
You see what happened there?
I see what you're saying.
Now look where he's come. He's on the League of Legends. Where are you?
Yeah.
You're casting LCK with low standards.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
How the mighty have fallen.
Exactly.
That was kind of a, okay. Oh, the Hex Splash in, and he gets the knock-up. The shield is not going to help him as Dove, not able to shuffle his way out of that scenario, is going to get first blooded by good old Bono and Tempt.
And SANDBOX are definitely getting knocked around a little bit by Bono here in game number 3. As he is really, really aggressive here on this chart. He's looking for more ganks. He's just not farming. When you get these type of players in solo queue, the game is always going to go one of two ways.
Yeah.
And right now, it's going the way where he's succeeding and you just feel awful about it.
Yeah. Okay, so on sticking around here. No hook shot is going to get stunned up and just to oblivion. I thought he saw the Sejuani, perhaps not, but he stayed right in the perfect position to get killed by the Sejuani gank.
And that is definitely not the lane that you want a kill to be occurring in if you are a Hanwha Life fan, because that's the most volatile, is the Renekton lane. He has the most possibility to snowball out of control. Now we're taking a look at the replay. Hex Flash in. I mean, he's taking it to all the limits right here.
How about in the mid lane now? Bono returns. Is going to do a bunch more damage as the timing was nice there in live. But we'll take another look at what happened down in the bottom lane.
Looks like Joker able to get a knock up there onto Sangyoon. And then Galio, who's only been continuously nerfed in the support role anyway, continues to get hit. And that was just excellent CC chain.
He had to flash that. I mean, he has flash. He should have been able to read that and say, if I get stunned, I'm dead. Especially because he took Klepto of all runes.
Yeah.
But either way, SoHwan, bit of a mistake there, is going to take a death for it.
I mean, he has a giant wave that's moving into Summit, and he just hit level 5. Summit is, I think, deep into level...
Nice
oh, no. Oh, now they're going to share XP. This is terrible.
Yeah. He's trying to get a better back timing here for SoHwan, who doesn't have his TP. And without his flash, has to be careful about a pushing lane. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't feel good, but it's kind of required, I suppose they feel. And take another look down at the bottom side as Sangyoon has sustained a bunch of damage, actually, down here.
And this is truly surprising. As, well, Tempt is actually the one that's getting bullied temporarily.
Oh, on OnFleek's here again. Flashes the wall. He's not messing around. Stun is going to come in and hand it over to Summit, as he really wanted to give that kill over to Summit as well, you could tell.
Yeah.
And just a really bad scenario up on the top side now for Hanwha Life, as SANDBOX are putting on another lesson up in the top lane.
And now SoHwan doesn't have the teleport available. This is a big wave that's going to crash onto the turret. SoHwan's still level 5, but Summit is just snowballed out of control. And I don't think that Jarvan is going to be able to salvage this lane state. So with Sangyoon and Key not getting the type of edges that they would need to offset this pressure, let's take a look at this one more time. Summit gets in there with the slice and dice. SoHwan, he flashes away, but it doesn't matter. OnFleek was on point during that game.
Yeah. I mean, Renekton was level 6, or just
right.
hit 6. Camille was level 5.
Okay.
And he did not have a good idea of where Sejuani was, and he hook shots into the Renekton. And he still dies after flashing. I mean, that's...
Is that how it happened?
That is, yeah, I was narrating the
Was that the recap?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just letting you guys know in case you missed it like 3 seconds earlier.
What level was the Sejuani?
She was level 5.
You sure about that?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. You're right.
SoHwan is now just suffering the consequences up on the top side, but was it a bait all along? Was it just a 5-head maneuver? We do have Flash here on Summit. That Hextech ultimatum not going to last very long. Summit still has his flash. He's going to wait for the last second, and he gets away, masterfully denied away from Bono and SoHwan.
And that was just such good execution there by Summit. He did everything that he needed to get out of that situation. And now, if you're Bono and SoHwan, you're malding now in top lane. You're double malding.
This is the definition of malding, okay? You look it up in a dictionary, this is what you see.
You actually get a GIF of what's going on here. That exact play just plays on repeat over and over and over.
You make a YouTube video with that, with some malding and some special effects, you'll hit 100,000 views easy. That's the most malding I've ever seen of the entire night. That was incredible.
Yeah.
We get to see it again.
We're gonna see it again. No. Here we go. Oh, you can see the moment. Oh, this is where it was visible. You ready?
Yeah, they're all ready.
Here we go. Oh.
Jeez. Just see the hairline receding as they're walking away.
That was tragic. All right.
Yeah.
Well, now as we're coming back into the main game, the advantage for Renekton, I actually can't see the size of the minion wave, but he's up 9 CS. I think he should be up a lot more than that. Level 8 to level 7. And Summit has his teleport up soon, so does SoHwan, but SANDBOX, they already have the Cloud Dragon. Or, well, they're going to likely get the Cloud Dragon. Currently, they have the Clown Dragon.
Yeah.
So
You got to be specific about those
yeah.
things. As again, SoHwan, you know, he's not dying anymore. He has that cloth armor plus the corrupting potion, so he is technically getting crypto stacks, or crypto stacks, yeah. He's lining up the Bitcoin as we speak.
How's Bitcoin doing?
Get me a couple of stacks of Ethereum while you're at it. No, he's getting some money. That's what I'm trying to say. Internet money, by the way.
Right.
As we're going, he's not dying, but it does need to be said that the edge and the lane is being won here by Summit, so he's not too unhappy with that.
Well, with Shelly now picked up on Joker, it looks like he's going to run down into bottom lane and perhaps just place it down to get those last 3 turret plates so that we can get well fed. Would you ever wonder what's on the turret plates?
What do you mean? They're pieces of
No. Stop
stone
using that
and metal.
definition. Come on. Get a little bit more creative.
What do you mean? Like what kind of sauce they put on them? Or?
Had enough. Just had enough. Let's pay attention to this crocodile.
You're always talking about eating the turret plates, so I thought perhaps. Okay, well, SoHwan is going to buffer that hook shot, actually. He doesn't have his flash right now. It's so close to coming off cooldown. Finally, he is going to get it back. And so the gank will be somewhat denied, at least in terms of the kill.
But they do force Camille out of the lane. And so now Summit, he's going to pick himself up another plate. As we come back to the mid lane, this is the gentleman's agreement. Here we have Corki versus Azir in their natural habitat right now. So a couple of sand soldiers trying to poke the dog.
This is the mating ritual between the
is it?
The 2 most familiar opponents in the mid lane. They've done this before.
An angry aviator with a mustache and a poor helpless dog beneath him attempt to perform a mating ritual in order to seduce the angry birdman that is able to summon sand soldiers. That is quite a script. That's what I would expect to read on the back of a book. And I'm like, man, I'm sold.
I gotta buy this one. I found the book I've been looking for my whole life.
Oh, man.
Best fanfic you'll ever read. That's a good one. And yeah, I mean they just go at it all the time in the mid lane. You can't stop them.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. And of course, there's not much action. I mean, Bono got in there as well. He's trying to join the party. And that's the only reason why there was a kill. Very, very unheard of to get a 4th member in on that one.
Well, Cloud Dragon's coming up in 15 seconds. You can see that OnFleek, he is already on time in order to pick that up right away. I don't know why Joker doesn't just summon the Herald. Maybe he's going to summon it right now as Sejuani has arrived. Someone tell him that there's less than a minute remaining.
All right, now.
I don't know what his hotkey is for that, but it wouldn't be. There we go. You're a little bit late on the script. It was on the next page, next paragraph.
Yeah. No. Okay, we figured it out. And this will be.
Oh, solo given to Ghost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let him stack up the cash here.
Okay. Well, Ghost now going to move over to the Cloud Dragon.
Ooh.
Bono, he's trying to come in here. Azir can be a tricky man to try to gank.
He does have his flash currently. Is going to be swept away, and with the TP coming into the rest of his team, he'll be totally fine. All 5 members of SANDBOX now grouping up on the Cloud Drake into the open dragon. So
yeah, and they teleport Summit down into bottom lane to immediately get him into his proper lane allocation, because they're going to send the bottom lane top now because there's no objective on the bottom half of the map. And Open Dragon's coming out next, so definitely going to be a rainy day here for the 20-minute drink.
It's windy, and it's about to get a bit rainy in here. So, yeah, I mean, it's nicely played. You take a look at the gold difference in the top, and then you look down at the bottom at the plate difference. Just, you know, an extra 21 CS in the mid lane is making the real difference outside of the plates. So feeling pretty good about the way it's going here for SANDBOX. We mentioned at the beginning of the game that SANDBOX had to get ahead here. Or not had to, but if they got ahead, they would be in a fantastic spot. So must be feeling pretty good already with how the game is going. Okay, yeah.
All right.
What does it say next?
16 minutes. We're going to have some action here, Valdez, okay?
Wow, 16 minutes?
Yeah, 16 minutes. 50 seconds from now, we're going to get more action.
Yeah, see, Bono's reading the script here.
Yeah.
He's like, not yet.
Not yet, not yet.
Come on, OnFleek, you're coming in
trigger.
a little bit soon. Summit now.
Summit is looking for something right there, but not able to find it. Ended up using his ultimate, actually.
Yeah, you know,
As we're 30 seconds away, so just hold on, hang tight.
Okay. I gotta wait for my moments, you know.
Yeah, you gotta
This is what play-by-play.
get your voice ready.
Live
Yeah.
for. Okay.
It's gonna be okay.
All right. About 15 seconds left. Oh, Bono. He's already early.
Ah, foiled again by Agatha. she did
Agatha.
Yeah, we couldn't account for her. All right.
Yeah.
Now,
That
here
was
we
on
go.
the script.
16 minutes. You had to make a quick pit stop, you know.
Yeah, just delays it by a little bit. Don't fret. Oh, he's going back. I think Bono feels like
Hold on, that's what you think.
Oh, okay.
That's what you think. Hold on, hold on. Here it is now. They're foiled again.
Well,
all right.
they weren't happy with Sangyoon today, so they decided to leave him alone up here. As we do have the heroic entrance if they do need some help. We got Corki with the TP too. But for now, it is just Sangyoon. And with that delay, SANDBOX able to push up and just take down the turret with basically no defense.
And this means that the gold lead now is 3,000 in favor of SANDBOX. And all night, you know, I've talked about the scaling team compositions just naturally winning out later on. And the only upset for that was actually FLICKR, who managed to have Keen single-handedly save the... Oh, man.
That was nice.
That doesn't feel good. If you're Key and
Ghost
you see
grabbed
that happen.
onto the little,
Yeah.
you know, the wire that's hanging from the helicopter as it flies away like James Bond. Just got out of there. Was hopping onto, actually, James Bond. He's the one hanging on it.
Do you think that Dove likes Azir because a dove is a bird and Azir is a bird?
Yeah, I think that was, I know you're you're
bird
trying
the
to
word?
draw some correlations here, but I think you're actually right because if I'm not mistaken, Jason told me before that he was an Azir main, and actually that was part of the reason why he picked Dove as his name, as Bono's better smiter.
So why doesn't he use like one of the white Azir skin? Is there a white Azir skin?
You know, I don't
now
know.
I'm
not an Azir player. I don't really know.
Yeah, actually, I don't know all of Azir's skins. I know he has the green one.
Yeah.
He has the green one. That one looks pretty cool, and I think he has the purple one.
That can be the Dove covered in sludge from, you know, all of the garbage in the river.
Okay. I don't really know where you're going with that, but I'll back you up.
It's just the first thing that came to mind.
All right.
Yeah. Green plus Dove equals the deep depths of my mind. Yeah. Anyway, we do have this Ocean Drake coming up here. SANDBOX seem poised to take that one away as everybody wants to punish this Azir on the top side, but Dove is already moving away. As okay. Well, that's not what we're looking for. Sorry, you're fine.
What?
As Ocean Drake will be taken here by SANDBOX Mountain next. They finally roll a decent Drake here. Feeling pretty good about that. Would have liked to get a couple of those a bit earlier to add on to their nice 3,000 gold lead.
Yeah, but Hanwha Life, they don't really seem like they know what they want to do, and they can't allow the game to keep going the way that it is. Mountain Drake's going to come up a little around the time that SANDBOX would actually be entertaining a Baron capture, so That is lining up quite well. As Azir looking like he's going to get Banshee's Veil as the second item of choice, which is a little surprising because it's so easy for so many of the members to just pop it on the side of Hanwha Life. And
so I wanted to kind of pick your brain here while there's not much going on. So we saw the Klepto on the Camille, right? She only died twice, and, you know, eventually, we always say this with Camille, you know, 3-4 items, she's going to be split pushing. Do you think he kind of just said before the game, like, I'm probably going to get dunked on by, you know, some kind of counter pick. Let me just go with the Klepto, try to scale up as fast as possible, even if I die, so that I can hit that item spike sooner?
Well, the Kleptomancy on Camille.
Well, I'm going to have to hold that thought here as Summit, trying to go 1v2, gets the big healing and is actually able to flash the wall as he is not going to be able to get away. Bono is on the other side of that wall, now trying to create more of a fight as OnFleek will be flashing away here. So nice little play there by Hanwha Life to shut down the Renekton, give a bunch of gold back to that Camille.
Yeah, it slows the game down by a considerable amount, and it relieves a lot of pressure for that Camille. But you can see that Hanwha Life, they're still struggling to juggle this aggression across the map. That's the top tier 2 turret going down here at 21 minutes. That's not normal. That's definitely abnormal. As we take a look at the replay, you can see that Corki and his master are coming over here.
Oh, we got a fight in live.
Oh, man. Right,
as we're re-engaging, the double TP coming in, as SoHwan says, no thank you. Never mind, I will just back away. As we're not fighters here over in the LCK. We're thinking about a fight, but then got a little bit scared.
Oh. Well, that's rude. Imagine that you're trying to recall and then Kaisa just interrupts it.
Yeah. We've all been there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not quite sure.
That was close.
Yeah. What he was going for right there. But 2-item completion now across the board for SANDBOX. Well, almost. The Renekton will still be a little bit ways away.
Yeah.
The Sejuani, I'm not sure why the Knight's Vow didn't drop off her yet.
Oh, trying to bait Summit into this again. We got some help from both sides. Tempt going to get there sooner as Summit is going to be locked down. Can the Rakan save him with the shield? Is just barely going to be able on the backside as Hanwha will continuously try to set up this play to punish the Renekton.
Yeah. And I'm unsure what SANDBOX is thinking right now, at least in regards to Summit. He is really getting himself involved in a lot of these close calls. He's almost going to have the Spear of Sojin completed, as he does have the BF Sword and the Kindle Gem, but minute coming up until the Mountain Drake, and then shortly after that, it's very easy to get a Baron capture and then close out the game from there. Corki sitting on 2 items, as well as the boots, tier 1. And so there's still a lot of scaling that needs to be done on the side of Hanwha Life. But it's still just not as strong as the SANDBOX scaling. And so while they're sitting here and they're content to just keep farming and playing ping pong with all the lanes, it's not going to get them out of the situation that they're in right now.
Okay, well, SANDBOX now going for the big-time dive. They don't want to waste any time as immediately Tempt is going to get taken away. One last charm here onto the Galio. He's also going to be taken down. SANDBOX taking this game into their own hands, immediately pick up 2 kills, and will continue to push.
They're going to be able to raise 2 turrets here. Maybe they're going to go for 3. That is a cannon minion. Smite comes out from Bono. But I think, yeah, they have enough damage to get it. That Shurima turret, it always creeps me out. It reminds me of the building in WoW. You ever play WoW?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's in. Is it Outworld? Outland?
Outlands? Yeah.
Outland. What is Outworld? That's Mortal Kombat.
I have no idea.
I think that's Mortal Kombat. Wrong game.
Yeah. As I may have to cut you short on the reference here, as we got Baron coming down from Hanwha Life. They are just saying, the hell with it. We're just going to go for this. Azir out of position, but has TP. So maybe that's the point here where Hanwha say, well, we tried it. It was immediately spotted on vision. we'll just have to give that one away after the Mountain Drake also going to be handed over to SANDBOX.
Yeah, and they're backing up right now as SANDBOX. They clear out all of the vision. They have the mountain and the ocean. It's very easy for them to even two-man the Baron with the Azir and the Sejuani, given that they have the Ocean Drake and the mountain. And this is just a really good engage here by OnFleek.
Yeah.
Tied together.
Clear, super clean.
They get a lot of value out of that. And now Hanwha Life, this is part of the game that we play. Then now they're going to come in. They're going to clear out the vision. And then after this, let me tell you what's going to happen, Valdez. SANDBOX is going to come in. They're going to clear out the vision.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm getting excited here.
Try to contain yourself.
What's
please.
next?
All right.
Yeah.
SANDBOX. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah. They.
Well, they already have the vision.
Yeah.
So.
Now it's Hanwha's turn.
Now it's Hanwha's turn.
Yeah. They're coming in, and yeah, with Sangyoon, it'll make it a little bit easier to clear out some of that Baron vision. But
Bono doesn't want to go too far.
Yeah, they don't want to make the mistake. There's a ton of pick and engage on the side of SANDBOX. You got Rakan, you got Sejuani, even Azir can get in there. So Bono just has to turn tail and run and give back the vision here to SANDBOX, who with the Mountain Drake and an Azir Xayah combination, they can actually burst that down relatively fast. If they get a second Mountain in this game, which almost definitely is not going to happen, would have been even faster, but it's not the case here, as Hanwha Life just desperately trying to get whatever vision they can of the Baron take, potentially starting for SANDBOX.
Yeah. And there's definitely a fight that is brewing. Trying to make out what this says right here. I do believe that it says 27 minutes.
Oh, we're going in.
All right.
Bono not wasting any time. Joker a little bit behind them, but look at that Xayah damage with the feathers. Immediately going to pull it back. And SANDBOX on a good start here. Dove getting pretty low, but it doesn't matter. They have a lot of follow-up damage from both the Azir and that Xayah, as going in here, just leaving the front line as Summit. That should be a huge team fight win over to the side of SANDBOX. Only OnFleek dies for it, but it was crystal clean once again from SANDBOX.
So right there at 27 minutes, they get the ace, just like it said in the prophecy, and now they're going to immediately go over to the Baron. They're going to get this, and there should be no coming back for Hanwha Life. They have the worst team composition. They have no way to resist Baron-enhanced minions. We'll take a look at how this all ends up unfolding here. As Bono, he goes in for the Cataclysm. This is the old J4 Galio Wombo combo, but it's leaving much to be desired. I'll tell you that much, Valdez. As Dove, he ends up missing the Shurima Shuffle right there. And then SoHwan, he tries to come back in. They actually end up finding the kill. And then SoHwan, I mean, he's just shortly there to follow. So now with Baron in almost a 10,000 gold lead, it's going to be all too easy for SANDBOX to barrel down.
Yeah, and it's important to always remember that Hanwha Life was the one that started that. They said, we have enough items. We don't want to let the Xayah and Azir get too out of control here. We kind of have to go for a wombo combo and hope it goes well. That was kind of their last-ditch desperation attempt, but now down almost 10,000 gold plus Baron. You'd have to imagine that pretty much any chance they had is going to be taken away now. So SANDBOX, pushing in mid and bot, will look to close out this game.
Yeah. I really can't imagine how Hanwha Life would be able to come back from this unless Ghost got picked off or something prior to a fight happening.
Yeah.
And even then, it would only grant temporary stability. There's not like an Elder Dragon or anything coming up.
All right, another great engage here, but look at the Galio actually getting into the back line. He talked about Ghost, but he goes up in the Featherstorm. He is going to live, and he will output that damage. Tempt's trying his best, but that's a poor Corki that can't do it if he doesn't have a team around him, as he will be the only one left available, as, okay, he's going to get away. Still a sad Corki, but either way, SANDBOX going to be able to push in for the win. Very well played.
Yeah, and that's going to be it, as the Nexus turrets will fall. All right, the package.
Thanks, Tempt. A little bit of a comedy session here. They're like, nope, we want the kill. Nope, nope, don't hit the Nexus. They're back pinging them on the Nexus, and it's GG. denied on the kill, but not denied on the win, as SANDBOX getting a bit close there, dropping 1 game to Hanwha Life, but come back strong with a couple of good ones.
Yeah, they managed to bounce back and recover, and so it's a nice day for them here at Lowell Park as they do salvage this game entirely. And Hanwha Life, they can't be feeling too good about that, especially because this was a series that realistically they should have been able to close 2-0, but that's one of the nice things about best of threes.
Absolutely. I mean, and this is not the first time we've seen it. As I mentioned before, Genji up against Kingzone. They just aimed game 1, and then they come back super strong for 2 games in a row, and they win the best of 3. It's really important to have that. And, yeah, I mean, it's a great system we got going on here, and it does get the best team to win in the end here. Although SANDBOX looked extremely flat here, coming out in game number 1.
Come on.
No, they're all very in shape. It was just a slip of the tongue. They're all just feeling really good, except they did come out flat. And that is something to note as SANDBOX, they got to be careful. I mean, this was just Hanwha Life. There are, in the standings, 8 better teams, including you, than Hanwha Life. And if you come that close up against Hanwha, then you shouldn't be super happy, although you were able to take the win in the end.
Yeah, I'm going to ignore your Freudian slip there.
Yeah,
thank you. How you pronounce it.
Yeah.
As I agree with everything that you did just say, as really it's ultimately going to come down to what happens between KT and Hanwha Life. That's what it's looking like anyway in the current standings, and which is so surprising because this is a team that was known for its ability to just barely miss out on playoffs or always be the middle of the pack team, and this is the first split where it's not looking like that's going to be the case, as they continue to not really look like they have a theme. Even in the Zoe Ezreal game, I mean, one of the things that we mentioned was, well, there's still some no theme or anti-synergy going on here in terms of the drafts and whatnot, and game number 3, it just didn't look like the same team that showed up in game 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, that is fair. You know, Hanwha Life have their own slew of issues as to why they have fallen from 6th down to 9th. It does feel like the competition has got a bit stronger at the top side as well. Other teams all trying to do their best in summer. They know this is the last shot. If they don't put it in their all at the end of the last season, then that is, you know, they're not going to have another chance. So they want to make World's Gauntlet. They want to potentially get into playoffs, all that good stuff, and try to get the points. So SANDBOX, we expected this victory. It wasn't exactly the route. We took a couple of detours early on. We got a little bit lost. We weren't sure sometimes, but we landed at the destination, which was a SANDBOX victory. So props to them. And I think with that, they are the first team to get 9 wins. So yeah, good stuff. With 9 wins, you know, we said this before, 9 wins is kind of the cutoff for playoffs. 9-10 wins, like, almost definitely secures it. We'll see how that changes with how many teams are trying to make it into playoffs this time. But they're getting close to clinching that playoff spot, so they must feel pretty good about that. Yeah,
and we'll see what they can do in playoffs this time around. Although, I am worried if SANDBOX does start faltering like they did in spring. As tonight did look like a little bit of a struggle against Hanwha Life, even though in game number 3 it definitely did look a lot cleaner. As we take a look at some of the highlights.
I'm just going to take a little peekaroo here at what was going on. It was an early big victory for SANDBOX up in the top lane. Really shutting down this Klepto Camille. And they were able to strike back a couple of times, but seemed a little bit too late, too far ahead for SANDBOX, for Hanwha to get any big wins on the map, outside of a couple of kills here and there.
This was one of the really good engages here by OnFleek, followed up by Joker to thread the needle, and eventually find their way to the key that granted them the 2 Nexus turrets. And this was it. This was the 27-minute ending fight that we talked about in the game.
Yeah. Just one last shot, one opportunity.
Yeah.
And once again, you know, they weren't really able to clinch it here. So, gotta feel pretty bad. They had so much engaged in their comp, and if they were ahead and actually executing, it would have been some pretty beautiful engages and some fun stuff from Hanwha, but we never really got there. Let's take a listen into the chaos of the team fight. Xayah, nice. Saying all that stuff. Ghost feeling a bit of the, you know, the stamina that's required to play best of 3 series. It's not the easiest thing in the world. Looks easy, but there's a lot of stress to make sure you're performing at tip-top shape 3 times in a row. So props to them. It's like, don't touch the Nexus. Don't hit the Nexus.
And now they're disappointed.
It's like, oh, come on!
Yep.
God, my team.
Well, Summit had a really good performance there on the Renekton. Wouldn't actually be surprised if he ends up getting the MVP, as he did dodge a lot of gank attempts and a lot of pressure. He played really, really well on a mechanical level.
Yeah. The majority of the game was run by OnFleek and Summit, just together up on the top side, and just coordination to shut down the ganks and to get away from ganks and do all that fun stuff. So that was it. Good stuff from them. Looks like we'll get a peek into who was the real MVP, who got all the votes. It did end up being OnFleek in the end, so 2 MVPs tonight is going to be racking up the points and try to get up there towards the top of the standings.
Yeah. And he did quite a bit at several points in the game, like you just said, flashing over that wall, quite nice. And helping Summit turn that lane into a pretty good state for SANDBOX, as this engage as well found themselves getting 2 Nexus turrets off of that.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what he has to say in the winner's interview.
And it's only going to be him, so we'll have to zoom out the camera, as this guy is like 6'4", and try to get everybody on camera here. I'm going to hand it over to Ji-sun for the translation. Let's listen in.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Ji-sun for the interview translation, and we're going to be having a solo interview with OnFleek from SANDBOX Gaming, taking down Hanwha Life Esports. It was a very close game. How was today's match? Well, I could really feel that our performance was going down, so today's match was really significant, so it's a big relief that we got the win. So, as the game actually extended, SANDBOX players seemed more focused in games. So, do you feel more confident in late games? I mean, if we just stay focused to the last minute, you know, you don't know how the game will end like. So, that's why we always just maintain our focus. So your engage was really clean today overall. However, Zoe was very intimidating, but you were just opening fights even when you were falling asleep. So let's go through a highlight together. So Zoe, that sleepy trouble bubble was really, I mean, irritating, but you actually really reacted well. So, well, usually when you go in when you're falling asleep, actually the opponents kind of wake you up. So I just was waiting for that, so I just went in. And also, we have this very somewhat surprising moment, or maybe creepy play here, over here, like a horror movie. So it was a bait play using Nico, right? Whose call was that? So we were aware of the visions over there, so all the teammates were like waiting there. So since we were like having all the knowledge, it was easier for us to kind of fight back. So you were actually on the edge of their vision, so I think that was a very smart and perfect setup. And game number 3. Well, there weren't many actions in the beginning and the mid phase of the game. So what was the strategy about? So we had Xayah, Azir on our side and also Sejuani. So we have a huge teamfight ability in the late game. So we just want to play around the objectives, and then we were thinking of doing team fights after that. So let's go through our highlights of a team fight in the mid lane. So how did you see that angle? I used my ruler to see the perfect angle, and I just through my ultimate. It was a 90-degree. So you guys are back on the first place, closing out this week. So your next match will be up against Hanwha, the biggest rivalry in LCK currently. And this is gonna be a match for the first place. So any resolution going into that series? I'm not sure it's gonna be 9.14, but if it's so, I think that's the meta that SANDBOX is really strong at. So we're really doing our best, and also we really wanna give our revenge to Hanwha. So please keep supporting us. It's gonna be a very exciting one. So it was a long day for OnFleek today, so please give a warm round of applause. Once again, congratulations on the win, and this will be the end of the interview with OnFleek from SANDBOX, and I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji-sun, as always, for the translation. Good to hear from OnFleek. He says, yeah, just lined it up 90 degrees straight in the face of the Corki, who just went down to that. And the guy had a great day. Always seemed to be in the right place at the right time, and had a couple of great games of the Sejuani. So actually, one game on Jarvan, one game on Sejuani is where they got their wins in the MVP. So props to OnFleek, always on fleek when he plays the jungle. So good stuff from him. You like that one?
No, I didn't.
Okay, sorry.
Let me think what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10.
Okay, thank you.
I was trying to be generous.
Yeah, I noticed.
All right.
Well, OnFleek impressed today, and it was just a good day of games. That was a long week for me. I did 4 days in a row.
I'm gone for a week now.
Yeah.
I won't be here next Saturday.
There you go.
I return on Sunday.
That means that you and I are not going to cast until 2 weeks from now.
What?
Get out. What? Yeah, I guess if you're not doing Saturday, then yeah, that'll be sad. I'll miss my little last straw. As we'll take a look here at the standings, as SANDBOX 9-3, doing pretty well so far. Was able to turn that loss streak upside down and get a win here. You notice they want to get that revenge against Damwon. That was the one where they really got stomped.
Yeah.
So I don't blame OnFleek for calling them out specifically.
Yeah, and I mean that's really looking like it is going to be the first place contention, but Kingzone, you know, they can definitely make a run for it as well as Griffin. Genji definitely have been on a bit of a tear that comes out of nowhere, apparently. I don't know what to make of it. So,
and it's against good teams, too.
Yeah, that's the really scary thing, because they have a lot of easy matchups. Well, objectively easy. Anyway, by going by the standings coming up as. Take a look. Thursday, match 59 and 60 will be KT Rolster taking on Griffin, followed by SKT versus Genji. I believe that's the last of their tough opponents.
It kind of, well, I'm not 100% sure. They have Damwon in match 89, so it's not over yet. They also have Griffin again, so.
I'm just looking forward to match 66. I have that with Atlas, so.
Oh.
I'm going to need to make sure to prepare myself the night of, so.
It doesn't get much better than that.
It doesn't.
To be serious here, we got match 61, Damwon versus SANDBOX. Friday night, 5 p.m. Make sure you guys are tuning into that one. SANDBOX will try to get the revenge against Damwon, whereas Damwon look like the best team right now in the LCK. the most consistent, and the most just good at League of Legends. So we'll see how that one goes. Maybe SANDBOX can pull it back and actually put up a fight instead of getting stomped 0-2. Thank you guys for joining us. The entire week was a fun one to fill in. We'll have Atlas back next week as well, coming back for China, as LS seems to be pretty happy about that. Thank you, Mr. Larry Seinfeld, a.k.a. LCS. Or LCS.
LCS.
LS. That came out of nowhere. But yeah, that's going to do it for us, guys. Thank you once again for watching, and we will see you next week on Thursday, as Sunke is doing the longest closeout of all time. It looks like that's going to do it for us, guys. Thank you once again. We love you. Good night.
You take me higher when I feel low. Make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, all with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. 'Cause this is the beginning. To where we ever been. You taught me loving without all the pain. You're all I need. I'm feeling you're my desire, my cookie dough. My secret code. I keep on rolling, oh, with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. Make my sorrow sitting. 'Cause with you I'm feeling feather light. Light like a feather, white like
Have you ever wondered how it feels when everybody does what you say? Have you ever wondered what it's like to rule the world for a day? I'll fight until the end. This place won't grind me down.